Mission running in EVE Online is a slept-on activity that many players underestimate and rivals other money-making activities while staying in high sec. I'm going to share with you how the professional EVE players are taking level 4 missions and squeezing every ISK and bringing in hundreds of millions of ISK per hour, and how to do it safely in high sec. If you're looking for practical EVE guides and stories from the world of New Eden, you're in the right place. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Lynn Rankin. If you're trying to figure out EVE Online and carve out your path in New Eden, you're where you need to be. You should be familiar with level 1 and even level 2 missions from our last video, and you're ready for the next level. I have a lot of information to throw at you, so we're going to jump right on in. To start, there is a little information you need to know that I forgot to cover in my last video. So before you grab your pitchforks, let's fix it right now. How the system security status of where your agent is located affects your income per hour, and bookmark your wrecks so you can come back and salvage them after turning in the mission. I'm going to start with bookmarking very quickly. When you are finished with a mission and before you leave to collect the mission reward, make sure to bookmark a wreck in the site. Otherwise, you won't be able to warp back to the site after turning in the mission to do some salvaging and looting. When you get to level 3 missions, that's when salvage starts becoming more profitable and worth your time to collect. Wrecks won't despawn until 2 hours after they are generated, or downtime, whichever comes first. And if you're a real Chad, share your bookmark with a friend who is starting out and have them salvage behind you. It will give them a boost to their income to build their journey with you. Now, system security status. In case you did not know, and I did not know this either until after I published the last video, the lower the system security status you go for a mission agent, the higher the rewards are for that mission. For every point you go down from 1.0, you get an extra 10% for mission rewards before skills. That means if you have a mission agent you run missions for and they are in a 0.5 system, you are earning 50% more mission completion ISK just by way of location. And that's not all. Your loyalty points go up as well. With a slightly different scaling, you could be earning up to 45% more loyalty points per mission if your agent is in a 0.5 system. And with skills combined, you can train the following skills and get even further rewards. Negotiations. Each level of negotiation increases mission ISK rewards by 5%, meaning 25% extra ISK at level 5. Security connections. Each level of security connections increases loyalty point gain by 10%, meaning 50% extra loyalty points at level 5 for security missions. Social. You'll need level 3 in order to access security connections, but each level increases standings gain with an agent, corporation, and faction by 5% per level. Connections. Each level of connections increases standings gains for friendly agents by 4% per level. As an alpha pilot, you can only train social to level 3, negotiation to level 2, security connections to level 2, and connections to level 2. But the boost in standings and income is worth getting these trained. A little later in the video, I will tell you why high standings with agents is a must for taking mission running into the hundreds of millions of ISK per hour range. This means two things. As an alpha pilot with skills and a mission agent in a 0.5 system, you can earn an extra 60% ISK, 65% extra loyalty points, and 23% extra standings per mission. As an Omega pilot with maximum skills and a mission agent in a 0.5 system, you can earn an extra 75% ISK, an extra 80 to 90% loyalty points, and 45% extra standings per mission. But again, most of the value is coming from the location, and this is not including the extra income you get from bounties, loot, or salvage. Because we're going to be in a 0.5 system and Concord's response time is on average 19 seconds to an attack, we're going to need to be more careful. Watch your local chat by popping it out into its own window. Go to GANKER list and add every organization in the message of the day as read. And watch your directional scanner for any combat probes. If you see ships on your D-scan within 0.1 AU of you, that ship is definitely in your mission pocket and you need to get out and get to a station. While not all ganker groups will be represented in ganker list, you can check zkill.com, search up the solar system that you want to do missions in, and find any PvE losses that died to group suicide attack. This way you can find groups that are not on ganker list, but operate in the area that you are going to be running missions in, so you know exactly who to watch out for and be wary of. Remember, Concord is a force of retribution and not a force of protection. They are there primarily to avenge you, not to save you. They arrive after a crime has been committed against you, not prevented from happening. Flying relatively cheap and not equipping blingy equipment like officer modules will deter an attack in the first place, since they will have a harder time profiting from attacking you. And whatever you do, don't pay for scams like mining permits, ratting permits, mission permits, or whatever permit a ganker tries to sell you by making it seem like you were at fault in the situation, not them. And keep it clean and local, or private chats. Gankers are not above provoking a response in order to get you banned. Block them and move on with a new ship. With all that out of the way, let's get into the fits. I've got 2 fits for you today, one for level 3s and one for level 4s, but the level 4 fit can also be used for level 3s. We're going to start with the level 3 fit. Keeping with the Keldari theme we've been working on in this little series, we have the CARACAL. This is a classic mission running ship that will help you run through missions and get you towards level 4s. The grind from level 3 to level 4 is a bit longer, so we want a reliable ship that can get us to there and be a fallback option if we run into trouble with level 4s and lose our level 4 ship. The simple idea with this ship fitting is to keep moving perpendicular to enemies at a 45-degree angle to maximize your transversal and try to keep your targets near your optimal range. By that, if you have a range of 30 kilometers on your missiles, you should be hovering around 25 to 28 kilometers. This allows you to keep hitting your targets and, combined with your speed, distance, and trajectory, minimize as much damage as possible. We have ammo for every damage type in our cargo bay, because you will want to switch your missiles per mission depending on what NPCs you'll be fighting to maximize your damage output. With this ship fitting, you will be just fine to tackle level 3 missions and grind your way towards level 4s. Now, I won't be running an example of level 3s in this video. Instead, we're going to focus on the next ship, which can run level 3s with ease and take on level 4 missions as well, and it's a great financial option for you as you make your way towards a battleship. I bring you the Drake, the OG when it comes to mission running, and yes, it still rocks it in missions today. While it may not be the fastest, it's still reliable and stable as you make your way up to battleships. This is a heavy missile Drake that is letting us utilize range control and keep enemies at a distance while still having great applications against NPC frigates, though we carry a flight of warrior drones to give us an extra edge in that regard. This fit relies on high specialized resistances and passive shield regeneration. In fact, the lower your shields are, up to a point, you actually get more shield HP regenerated per second, meaning you get tankier the lower you get, meaning our shields regenerate fast enough to counteract the damage we are taking. This has its limits. The maximum shield regeneration happens when you are at 33% shields. This is when your regeneration is strongest, though if you are going below that point, that means your tank has failed and you need to start getting out. I would suggest planning your escape if your shields are hovering around the 50% mark, just in case. You will want to make sure you use your MWD sparingly, using it to get into range of enemies and cross large distances to get to acceleration gates. Otherwise, leave it off and keep your shield hardeners on. Just because our shields regenerate on our own does not mean we shouldn't do our best to mitigate incoming damage. Stay at range, keep your hardeners on, move at a 45-degree perpendicular angle from the NPCs, and keep your MWD off except to close range or get to an acceleration gate. It takes up a lot of your capacitor, and if you have your MWD turned on, you're actually easier to hit. We'll cover signature tanking in a future video. Lastly, we want to analyze each mission we take and which factions we will be fighting, and reviewing their damage types and swapping our shield hardeners to defend against specific damage. For example, if we are fighting the Sanchez Nation, which deals EM and thermal damage in that order of severity, in our fit you will want to use 2 EM hardeners and 1 thermal hardener. This will maximize your defense against those factions. If you are facing multiple factions, you will want to use a dedicated hardener for any shared damage types, and then multispectral hardeners for the rest. If there are no shared damage types, use multispectral and pay attention to your shield HP. I'll talk a little more about NPC damage types in just a minute. We have our ship and we have a level 4 agent in a 0.5 system. How are we going to take this even further? Obviously, we're going to be running the missions to collect ISK and loyalty points that we then spend on items to turn into even more ISK. But what are we really after right now? The goal right now is to grind up our standings using these level 4 agents so we can boost our faction standing. This is how we're going to take agent juggling that we talked about in our last video to a whole new level. You see, if your faction standing is high enough, you can start declining undesirable missions much more regularly without worrying about the 4-hour window. This is because of a concept called derived standing. There is a limit to this, however. If our faction, corporation, or agent standing goes below -2.0 because we decline too many missions without replenishing our standings by actually doing missions, we won't be allowed to run missions for them until we grind the standings back up with level 1 agents. However, because of derived standing, we actually lose very little standing with the faction overall, and with the connection skills I mentioned earlier, we regain a lot more standings than we lose. Again, we can't spam this, but we can decline a few undesirable missions so we can get to what's known as blitzing. And for that, I'm going to turn it over to Gameplay Me. Blitzing in EVE Online is the practice of completing only the core objective of a mission while ignoring everything else. Instead of clearing every enemy or looting the entire site, you focus on what actually triggers completion. Whether that is destroying a specific target, grabbing an item, or reaching a location, then you immediately leave. This approach prioritizes speed over full clears, allowing you to run more missions in less time, which increases loyalty points, standings, and overall ISK per hour, while giving up most bounties, loot, and salvage in the process. It's very important to use a resource such as EVE University or EVE Survival to look up your mission and observe what enemies are in what groups to mitigate aggroing the whole room, and which enemies trigger reinforcements to spawn. You can manage your tank much better if you are aware of which groups of enemies to attack and in what order, so you don't aggro the entire room, which will make your tank more difficult. By watching for which enemies trigger reinforcements and which groups cause other groups to engage you, your tank will thank you. Another thing to note when doing missions is to take care to pay attention to the NPC damage and tanking profiles. For example, if you are fighting against Sancha's nations, you will want to tank EM and thermal damage by making sure they are your highest resistances, and you will want to deal EM or thermal to deal the most damage to them. Each faction has their own unique spread and combination of tanking and damage profiles. So refer to this chart here on screen or visit the linked article down in the description. The Drake specifically does get a damage bonus for kinetic missiles, Scourge, which we can experiment with and see if the increased bonus DPS outperforms specifically targeted resistances. For example, Scourge may not be a good choice against Sancha, but it's worth trying a volley or two to see how it compares to EM to see if the bonus that the Drake gets to kinetic outweighs not shooting the damage hole. I'm going to show you a section of gameplay here that can help you apply better damage to a ship that has a high repair rate, but you don't have a web. Essentially, most AI in EVE is designed to get within and stay at a certain distance of you. In this case, with this battleship in my mission, once I got within that certain range, it attempted to get away from me. My damage was not breaking its tank quickly enough, so instead of having a web on my ship, I took advantage of the AI's behavior. See, by temporarily boosting my MWD and getting in front of the battleship, the AI wants to try and get away from me. And since it's now heading towards me, it needs to turn around, killing its velocity and allowing my missiles to apply more damage. Definitely having a web would help against this particular NPC. Its AI is designed to go away from us, so if I can make its transversal change, not in that way. If I can make it want to run the other way and slow down, it'll take a couple of hits. Because yeah, it'll want to start turning here and start trying to get away from me. So if I can try and get in front of it, we're going to cause them to keep slowing down and take more hits from us. There we go. I'm going to need to recover some of my capacitor, but that's how you get around not having a web and needing the NPC to slow down, but you're faster than it. So rather than continuously chasing it, I got in front of it and forced it to slow down on its own. Hit my micro warp drive again, cause it to slow down again, causing it to change direction, slowly doing what we need to do. There we go. During the mission, we talked about the general concept of blitzing, but what missions should we decline and which ones should we run? In general, you want to maximize your loyalty point gain and ISK per mission completion. So after you have a high standing with a faction, say 6 or 7.0, you can start declining missions that take too long or do not have good loot. I have on screen a list of missions you can, once you have high enough standings to freely decline, ignore. Any mission that has you attack one of the 4 major empires in EVE, like Keldari or Amar. Unauthorized military presence, massive attack, recon parts 2 and 3, worlds collide with an exception, buzzkill, the blockade, smuggler interception, in the midst of dead space. This list is not meant to be exhaustive. There are over 119 level 4 missions, including all variants and faction kill missions. You will be able to build your own list of missions you decline, but which missions should you always accept and blitz? Dread Pirate Scarlet, Rogue Drone Harassment, Silence the Informant, Recon Part 1, The Rogue Slave Trader, Downing the Slavers, Stop the Thief, The Damsel in Distress, Pirate Invasion, The Right Hand of Zazmataz, Worlds Collide, worth doing if the hacker keycard drops from either Zaz or Damsel missions. These listed missions drop high value loot as well as are straightforward easy missions to clear. For example, in the Damsel in Distress mission, there is a chance to get an implant drop worth 100 million ISK from destroying Zor, as well as potentially dropping a hacker keycard that allows you to unlock the second base during Worlds Collide, allowing you to double your bounty reward for the mission. Without this hacker keycard, you need to clear the first base and hope that the battleships drop one. What's next from here? The Drake is just a stepping stone and a low-cost way to get used to the rhythm of level 4 missions, and you will eventually want to upgrade to a battleship for missions like Worlds Collide. From here, we have one more video I'm going to do covering how to upgrade to an alpha-friendly battleship and run a few missions with that. And by blitzing, you should achieve that 100 million to 200 million ISK per hour range, depending on the missions you roll and your efficiency. And then from there, we're going to get into a new series that should hopefully help a lot of people and earn you even more ISK. Burner missions. Burner missions are random missions you will receive when running your level 4 missions. And these are special because they can be freely declined without any standing hit because they are high skill, high risk, but high reward in mission rewards, bounties, and loot. These burner missions are what blitzers are looking for, and this combined with blitzing normal level 4 missions yields 300 to 400 million ISK per hour. This means after I cover how to run level 4 missions in an alpha-friendly battleship in my next missions video, I'm going to show you how to do each and every single one of the burner agents, burner teams, and burner bases. Yes, even the Garista's base, the hardest or most annoying of the burners, over the course of my upload schedule. So subscribe so you don't miss those dedicated guides. And remember, you don't need perfect skills, just enough to have fun. If you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a like so I know to create more like this one in the future, and also consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss my next upload. If you really like this video, consider using my creator codes in the description. I do receive a small kickback to keep this channel going. Also, the Galente election event is happening right now, so check out this video here on an overview of the event track, and how to complete it. I want to take a moment to thank my YouTube and Patreon members for their support. Your support means the world to me. I appreciate each of you, and I couldn't do this without you. Bye-bye now.